Good Friday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Right out of the gate, we've got some fog, and if you think it's bad this morning, it could be worse tomorrow. Ooh, that's good intel. I'm glad I'm tuning in. Yeah, tomorrow morning could be very dense with the fog as well, but take a look at the visibility. It's dropped down to 0 around, say, Oak Ridge, maybe Hardin Valley and Solway, and Jacksboro, very poor. We've got visibility issues in perhaps Oneida, Scott County, Middlesboro. Give yourself some extra time. McGee-Tyson showing at 6 miles, so it may not be perfect everywhere, may be pretty poor in a lot of places, and that fog, low-level clouds, can produce a little bit of drizzle and maybe even a little bit of spotty rain. A little ground clutter there, but most of what we're seeing here on the radar is back to the west of Nashville, back toward Columbia. Go back one slide. I'm going to show you again the issue that we have sometimes when we're in the clear air mode. It looks like it's raining everywhere, but this is, again, it's just more a function of the condensation that's going on at the surface. The Ultimate Doppler Radar presented by A1 Fincham Heating and Cooling. Focused on customer satisfaction, they won't quit until you're happy. Give them a call at 865-947-4267. I've got their phone number at the top of this Facebook post. And, of course, a1fincham.com, place to be if you need some heating or cooling things addressed, because we're going to be moving toward a colder pattern in the next couple of months, and a lot of folks will be worried about their heat if it gets extremely cold. Here's what we have again on the radar. A couple of showers moving through the middle part of the state, but nothing really striking us at this point other than the low clouds and the fog. Meanwhile, the bigger picture shows wet weather across parts of the Gulf of Mexico, down across parts of Florida, but things look pretty quiet here. Now, when I say some spots of rain or drizzle, that's what I mean. I mean, if you look at the future rainfall, I mean, it's not like there's not something that could drop from the sky, and you might have to use your wipers just getting into work this morning, given the fact that the air is so thick with this fog in some spots. But you can see there's not a lot of forcing here to suggest that we're going to get showers per se, but it will be very interesting. By the way, I thought I'd kind of recap, because we've been talking about fall color the last couple of days. When it's warm, when it's cool, when it's dry, when it's wet, you can have either brilliant color or it can be rather muted. So the things we like to look at, temperature, light, and moisture. These are the key ingredients to a great season. Some people say, oh, this was a bad season, this was a great season. It usually relates to these three variables. So temperature, light, and moisture are the keys. You want warm and sunny days. We've had those. Oh, we've had those. But we also like to have the cool, crisp nights. And in some cases, we've been in the 50s. Maybe even a cooler night would be great to help enhance some of that color. But the last ingredient that you want to avoid would be the freezing temperatures, and we haven't had those either. So we are on track for what could be a very nice season, given the fact that we've had a lot of mornings in the 50s here in September, and we're about to transition into a whole new month. As of Sunday, we're into Oktoberfest, maybe. October is almost here. By the way, I have, good morning to you, I have the all-important Vols tailgating forecast and the football forecast coming up in just a few slides from now. But I am on YouTube and Facebook. Right now I'm on Facebook on this page. Dennis Hatcher says, good morning from Dandridge. Go Vols. Thank you, Dennis, for being here. He's one of my premium members. Fred says, good morning, David. Go Vols. Rosina says, good morning. I haven't seen Rosina in a long while. Great to see her. She's got the sunshine. I don't know if you have the fog, Rosina, but glad to have you here. And as I go back and look at some of the other comments, let's see if I can go back up, slide maybe back up on this map. I know I can jump back over to YouTube if you're leaving me a comment here. There's Steve Stone on YouTube. He says, good morning, and it's Friday. Happy to have it's Friday, because given the fact you worked all week, you look forward to the weekend. Good news is it's going to be sun-filled, but it's going to be prolonged weather that's dry. And I did do some checking, because you know I'm a note taker. I have kept some notes that we are now going to be tied for the 5th spot. Right now, we are tied for the 5th, driest September at McGee-Tyson Airport. Interesting. And maybe just in Knoxville in general, because data does go back pre-airport. Right? They used to keep records. Weather Service has records going back before the airport. So at least Knoxville, this could be the 5th, tied for the 5th driest, 0.42. But that's also one of my slides that I can show you right now in the next 2 here. But moisture deficit, anything that's orange, we typically love. But on this map, it's not a good thing. From Clingman's Dome to Decatur to Clinton, these are the areas that are over 2 inches in the hole. We have to dig out. We have dug ourselves a hole. Now, where you see some purple around Morristown, it might just be 1/10 of an inch. Some areas around the Tri-Cities have had more rain than we have, but it's been exceedingly dry over the last 30 days. From the Southern Valley down toward Chattanooga, back toward Nashville and Jackson. So this is just to give you in keeping with what we've been seeing as far as the dry weather. 3.5 inches is what we typically see in the month of September based on the normals. And why be normal? Normal is from 1991 to 2020. These normals are updated every 10 years. So this is what we have. And 3.49, if you got to an average September, would be great. But we haven't had a normal September. We've had only 0.42. That's not a lot of rain. And given the fact that the month ends starting tomorrow, essentially, right, we're going into the 30th on Saturday. We don't have much time left. Temperatures, 60. These are the numbers that we have heading out the door. So we have some fog. We've kind of covered that aspect of it all. But if you're in, say, Crossville, you may very well be closer to 54. And 53 in Jamestown, 54 in Oneida. How cool are you this morning? Would like to find out where you are. I saw Steve Stone. He's on the Good Morning It's Friday on YouTube. Well, I'm going to pop back over to Facebook. I see Marilyn Bell. She says the Scots and Irish Festival is Saturday in Dandridge. Great to know. We had Wanda Poe say, when is the harvest moon? I'm going to have to do some checking on that there, Wanda. You got me on that one, but I could put that in your comment a little bit later this morning. Danny says, good morning. Hope you have a great Friday and go Vols. I got my checkerboard tie on because I think this is another high-scoring game for the Vols. The Gamecocks are going to come here and they're going to walk out feeling really bad about themselves. That's what I think, probably by about 10:30, 11 o'clock when this game begins to wind down. This game will be a great game to watch, I suspect, at Neyland Stadium. All right, temperatures here at 646. We're in the 60-degree range. I expected a low around 60. That's where we are. But there are many 50s populating this map, including Madisonville, Morristown, as well as Crossville in the lower 50s. But they are around 70 this morning. In Memphis, they've had a heat wave. They've had a couple of days now in the 90s. Can you imagine that? End of September. Wonder if we've ever had 90s at the end of September. Yes, we have. I did some checking from September 27th to about the 3rd of October. We had 7 90-degree days in 2019, 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And I don't mean just like 90 or 91. It was 95, 96. 96 for the first couple of days of October. So we've had some hot days. And we're going to be warm going into the near future, but nothing like it was in 2019. That was a very dry September as well, and it was also a very hot start to the month of October in 2019. Just a little perspective, because I like to do some history and some research. By the way, temperatures right now, 10-degree difference from Memphis to Knoxville. I showed this yesterday, but I think there's an appetite to know how many 90-degree days is normal. What do we normally see? This goes back from 2010, the year I got here. We had 77 days, which was like a bumper crop, right? Because the most ever recorded was 1936 during the Dust Bowl days. We had 78 90-degree days in the 1930s. Then we saw a pretty close attempt at that in 2010, and then again in 2016, 76. But it ebbs and flows. 2013, we had only a measly 11, and very rarely, because it's like the stock market, right? What does the stock market do? It goes up and down. It's like sine and cosine. It's always up and down. And so much so that when we see these numbers, you carry this to the next map, you go, okay, only 11 in 2013 or 14, we had a lot of rain. This year, we had only 18, right? A lot of folks have talked about the heat this year. The average is 34. But we had 18 days in 2023. I don't know if you thought this was a great summer. Some of you would have said it was a humid summer. I would grant you that. But it wasn't a hot summer like we've had in the past. We have usually, if you're like me, I can't remember what I had for lunch a week ago last Tuesday. Maybe you do. Maybe you even remember what you were wearing. I'm not that good. That recollection of data doesn't stick around. But for some, you like to see the perspective. We had 41 days last year, 41 days at 90 in 2021. So just throw it out there. I find that interesting if you do as we get September out of the rearview mirror heading into October. Not much wind, obviously, with the fog. There's not going to be much movement. And I suspect winds today will be 0 to 5 miles per hour. Here are the clouds. Our sun's not going to be up until closer to 7:30. It is now 6:49. There's a few hazy clouds trying to stream in. Most of the rain we mentioned is west of Nashville. And any spots of rain you are greeted with this morning will be a function of the low clouds and fog. High temperature today. Where are we going? I suspect we'll hit about 82 today, about 80 in Oak Ridge, upper 70s more common in the Plateau, and 84 in Tellico Plains. So those are my expectations as we take a look at high temperatures today. I want to go back to you and say hi. Dennis says it's 59 degrees here in Dandridge this morning. The yard is crunching here. Yeah, that's a good description. I think that's true for me, too. I hope Neyland Stadium rattles the Rattler back to South Carolina. I'm sure it's going to be loud. Yeah, I'm sure. Steve Stone back on Facebook, too. He's doing multi-platform like I am. Steve, great to have you here. He says, good morning. And I see Felicia, good morning. Yesterday was a lovely day and worked a lot doing yard work. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. Thank you very much, Felicia. I'm very thankful for all of you as we go back and to come back on Facebook and back on YouTube. I think YouTube's still here. We got 5 people. We got 5 people. We get people used to us on the YouTube. I've been on Facebook for many, many, many years, but kind of expanding the reach and happy to have you, whatever platform is suitable for you. I'm glad to have you here. But these are high temperatures. Now get to the sunrise and sunset today, because you might be scratching your head going, when is the sun going to come out? Not till 7:29, and it'll be going to bed tonight at 7:23. Now, if you fast forward one day from now, Saturday night, this will be around 7:22, right? So about 8 minutes before the game, talking the Vols and the Gamecocks of South Carolina, it'll be dark under the lights by the time kickoff gets underway. So sunrise, obviously, we're getting shorter nights, shorter days, I should say, longer nights. As we look at the bus stop forecast, the school bus zones, drive extra carefully, especially because of the fog, which I should have pictured here with some animation, but there will be some fog. 68 at 10 and picking up around 79 degrees. I suspect a high temperature around 82. All right, so we're talking some spots of rain or drizzle today that in some cases could very well be from fog. Maybe you get a little spot of rain later in the day. That's possible. We look at the other headline. It's dry this weekend, and we have warm afternoons, but nothing like it was in 2019, for those of you that remember that particular year. Go Vols, hashtag Go Big Orange. You knew I'd get to this. Tailgating forecast, maybe you're playing some cornhole. By midday, should be around 76. By 2 o'clock, the low 80s. And you start to think, you know, if I'm in the sunshine, it feels pretty hot. It's pretty warm. Certainly for the end of September, 85. That's my expectation for the high. Between 4, 5 o'clock should reach about 85. And that's in the shade. It'll feel warmer if you are out playing cornhole in the sunshine. So take that into account. And now as the night draws near, of course, the Gamecocks Go Big Orange. This is on the SEC network. I'm expecting a kickoff temperature that's 10 degrees cooler, 75. It will get sharply cooler with a lack of much cloud cover. It's mostly sunny, but mostly clear for the game, and winds will be 0 to 5. So you're not talking much wind, and by the end of the game, it should be around 66. So you might think, I wish I had a sweater. I wish I had a long jacket, long sleeve shirt or a jacket. Maybe that's what you're thinking. All right, this is the update on the tropics here at 6:52. They're kind of an interesting duo, maybe some lovebirds. I'm talking about Philippe and Rena. You can see them squarely in the middle of this screen, right? You got 1 and 2. Philippe is on the left, Rena's on the right. But Philippe is trying to peter out and may very well do so over the next couple of days. This was kind of like going in a circle. Can't decide where it's going to go. Kind of likes it over land, and then there he goes. There's Philippe, right? He does pick up maybe some momentum in the same direction that Rena is going to go, which is to the northern colder waters of the Atlantic. Here's Rena, almost right next door to Philippe. Like I said, there's a love connection, but this one dries off into a tropical depression by the time we reach middle of next week. So Rena, who formed, by the way, at 11 a.m. yesterday morning, is the latest storm in the Atlantic. Just not a problem for the U.S. So we have Sean, Tammy, and Vince. I'm sure there's a few Seans out there. Maybe you know somebody named Sean. They could become, I don't know, water cooler discussion. Hey, did you hear about the new storm called Sean? I mean, that's still possible going into October. I don't think we're done with hurricane season. We're not done with the tropics. We'll keep an eye on that. I mentioned my new YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with where it's located, it has some little tricky, I guess, URL punctuation. It's youtube.com/at Captain Accurate, but it's free. Would love to have you join my channel. It continues to grow. It's probably one of the fastest platforms I have right now. Storm Prediction Center, you can see here, are the colors. Most of it's going to be of the general thunderstorms in light green in some spots of the country. Where there might be some isolated severe storms would be up toward Minneapolis, St. Paul, mainly St. Cloud. Love that, right, for a weather guy. St. Cloud, that's where I live, up here in Minnesota. And then Sioux Falls, South Dakota, could get some isolated storms, but there's nothing expected here outside of some drizzle or spots of rain. Saturday looks great here. Looks great everywhere up and down the, at least the mid-Atlantic and toward New England. Maybe a few general thunderstorms in Florida and back toward the upper plains states. Saturday looks great. Sunday looks pretty good too, and if there is any severe weather on Sunday, it might be centered around Rapid City, South Dakota. So we'll be watching that as well. Oh, I got another note from YouTube. I see Marilyn Bell. Hey, look, I jumped to you. Oh, awesome. Glad. See, you're multitasking. I'm not the best multitasker. I'll tell you that. I'm on the Johnny One note. I focus in on, hone in on one topic, and then I do my best. Oh, see, here it is. Darcy Soares says, worst fog yet. And I'm fearful, Darcy, it's going to be even worse tomorrow. The data would suggest that we're going to have so dense fog. So if you're the earliest of tailgaters tomorrow, I'm meaning sunrise, you're getting out, you're doing some cooking out on the grill, very early tomorrow morning, the fog is going to greet you. But if you wait till, say, midday, I did kind of a highlight of the afternoon tailgating. Fred says, y'all have a safe and blessed weekend. And Wanda says, October, please bring the frost, kill the ragweed. I'm with her. Any allergies, would like to say goodbye to it in 2023 with that first frost, which typically comes around the 24th of October. So let me wrap things up here. We've got 5 minutes to do so. So we've covered all the severity. We are currently, if you're just joining us, 60, Knoxville, McGee-Tyson. No wind, we have some fog and some visibility that is pretty poor. As Darcy noted, around the Kingston area, it is the worst yet. Now, 20% chance, that might be generous. But 0% chance Saturday through Thursday, I think, is realistic. I repeat, do not expect much rain for quite some time. Might be a week. Might be next Friday where we go, ooh, I think I see some rain. You know what I mean? This is not what you want to hear, but I can tell you this is going to be like if your grass is crunchy and you feel so inclined to water it, certainly if you're doing some fall planting, you'll definitely want to add that element because October, historically, is the driest month of the year. Valley Planner, hazy sun and clouds today, and dare I say some fog. Spots of rain or drizzle as a function of that fog in some cases. But our average high dropped a degree because here on the 29th of September, the average is 78 now. So if we manage an 82, and I think we could easily do that, 82 would be 4 degrees above normal. So we've got some warm days still ahead. All right, here's the future cast. If we see this little trough, that little broken brown line, if it starts a few sprinkles, as it's trying to do here through the morning, there you go. So they're over depicted. This is probably what we call feedback. It's over depicted model noise. But by noontime today, there might be some spots of rain that forms based on this model. If that trough doesn't verify or doesn't hold together, it's a quiet, steady-as-she-goes day. Saturday, totally dry. All the rain is either up towards, say, New York City or off the coast of North Carolina, but we have dry conditions going right into Sunday. Not an issue as far as rain on Sunday or Monday, and so it goes. So I hope you like dry weather. Here's another look at Futurecast. This one may have a different output for as far as the rain or potential rain today, but it shows some clouds and some sun, a little bit of a blend of the two. Notice by midday we're around 74, but there's a spot of rain between Jamestown and Wartburg. So if you're in Fentress County, Morgan County, if this model were to verify, there'd be a spot of rain here. So that's why I left the 20%. And it looks like it tries to make it way down toward Maryville by 4 o'clock today. Again, confidence not all that high, but it's not totally out of the realm of possibility. By the end of the day, we're in the low 80s, probably low to mid 80s for the Southern Valley. And then we head into Saturday. This is when I think fog will be pretty bad. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning will be around 62 degrees or so around, say, Knoxville. And we'll be warming back up, as I mentioned, into the mid 80s. So mostly sunny tomorrow. As temperatures make a run toward 85. So that's my expectation for our Saturday afternoon. Of course, the big game is going to be beautiful weather and very comfortable, no humidity to speak of. All right, 6:58. I'm wrapping up right on time. Hazy sun, clouds, some spots of rain or drizzle, about a 20% chance. Highs around 82 degrees. I mentioned earlier that highs only in the upper 70s for Wartburg, Oneida, and Crossville. So the Cumberland County area, Cumberland County and Lake Tansy, upper 70s. 80 for Sevierville, 79 in Morristown. And again, most of these temperatures, again, are still above average for this time of year. Nothing like it is in Memphis. They'll have another day at 91 degrees. Their heat wave continues. Mid-80s for Chattanooga, mid-80s today for Nashville if you're traveling there. Tonight we're down to 60, mostly clear. And boy, once it clears out, that fog is going to take hold very shortly after midnight, I suspect. And I suspect it's going to be like pea soup. So if you think it's bad today, now granted it's a Saturday, there might not be as many drivers on the road, but if you work on a Saturday morning or if you're tailgating very early tomorrow morning, just take note. That fog may be pretty poor, very thick, and it may reduce your visibility to a very large extent. Tonight we're down to 60 in Kingston, 58 for Morristown, and overnight lows, mid-50s for Bell County, Middlesboro. In Kentucky, 59 for La Follette, Jacksboro, 56 for Oneida and Huntsville, and 56, I mentioned, for Crossville for overnight lows. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. For Knoxville and East Tennessee, 85, and that's conservative. 85 on Sunday. If we hit 86 or 87 in downtown locations over the weekend, that would not surprise me. And that might cause some people to say, hey, I thought this was fall. Yeah, it's technically fall, but it's going to be warm because Tuesday, 86, Wednesday, 86, Thursday, 83. And there are some indications we get some rain on Friday, the 8th day beyond here, but there's no guarantee of that. We'll wait and see, right? It's a long ways. But there are some indications that we could get sharply cooler in October, which is what I'm updating my premium members are on Facebook. You might want to consider joining us. We'd love to have you join our Merry group because our subscriber group is very active, not only posting pictures, but also discussing weather that goes beyond the 7-day. Anyway, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care and have a great weekend. Go Vols!